Good evening and welcome to our Board of Commissioners this September 24th, 2024. I'm pleased this evening that we have Father Papa Giorgio. He's from Holy Transfiguration Greek Orthodox Church. He will be providing our invocation. Our invocation will be followed by the pledge, and that will be brought by Deputy Simorne. For those of you willing and able, please rise for both our invocation and pledge.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. O Heavenly King, comforter, the Spirit of truth, present everywhere and filling all things, the treasure of blessings and the giver of life, come and dwell in us, and cleanse us from every stain, and save our souls, O good one. Holy God, Holy Mighty, Holy Immortal, have mercy on us. We offer thanksgiving to you, O Lord, for all your gifts and blessings. We humbly come to you and ask that you may send upon us your heavenly Spirit to enlighten our hearts and minds. Give us of your wisdom and knowledge. Help us to know your will for your people whom we serve. Guide us in all our decisions to do what is best for them. Help us to shine with your love and compassion. Grant us your peace and your love. For glorified is your name, of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, now and always, and unto the ages of ages. Amen. Amen. Have a good meeting.
Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and for the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Deputy. Our meeting is now called to order. And before we get started in our presentations, I want to thank those of you who joined us last night for a conversation with respect to civility and public discourse. I know I learned a lot, and I appreciate those who took part of that discussion. Tonight, we have 3 presentations which are before us. The first one is to present a proclamation designating September as Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. For those in our audience who are part of this presentation, please join our commissioner up front.
Well, it is a great honor to present this proclamation to you. Whereas ovarian cancer is the 5th leading cause of cancer-related deaths among women in the United States and causes more deaths than any other gynecologic cancer. And whereas the American Cancer Society estimates that nearly 20,000 women will be diagnosed with ovarian cancer in 2024, and about 12,000 will die from the disease nationwide. In Georgia, an estimated 620 new cases and 410 deaths are expected, and whereas there is currently no effective screening or diagnostic tool for early detection of ovarian cancer. Increased public awareness of the symptoms and risk factors of ovarian cancer will enhance the chances of early detection and improve survival rates, and whereas during this month-long observance, all Cobb County residents are encouraged to join in related activities and initiatives that help raise support and awareness of this serious health concern. It has claimed too many lives over the years. Now, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim September as National Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. This, the 24th day of September, 2024.
My name is Denise Slobodinsky. I'm a resident of Marietta here in Cobb County. My sister died in 2010. Unfortunately, there is no early detection test. And if you leave tonight just knowing one thing, Please know the Pap smear does not detect ovarian cancer, and there is no early detection test, so most women are diagnosed at stages 3 and 4. The woman who got the proclamations in the metro area had finished 8 months ago, 6 months of chemo, and unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, she found out it has come back in her lungs and heart, her ovarian cancer. So I thank the Cobb Commission, I thank Commissioner Gambrell, and I thank you for read more and spread awareness. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next up, I invite those who are a part of the presentation designating September 25th as National Homicide Awareness Day in Cobb County to please join the commissioner up front.
How you been? The gang is all here. Wonderful. Okay. Who?
Hamilton. Chief Hamilton.
Who?
Since when you have ever been shy? Like, really? Come on. All right, here we go. Whereas every life lost to homicide represents a tragedy, leaving behind a grieving family and community shattered by violence. Georgia experienced a murder every 12 hours during 2023, according to the state's Uniform Crime Reporting Program. And whereas the impact of homicide causes immeasurable pain and suffering for the loved ones, friends, and communities of the victims. And whereas through remembrance, reflection, and support, organizations throughout the state raise awareness about the significant impact homicide has on the public. They work towards creating a society that prevents senseless acts of violence, seeks justice for all victims, and offers support to the survivors. And whereas by commemorating Homicide Victim Remembrance Day, the state of Georgia and Cobb County affirms their commitment to supporting all those impacted by homicide. Now, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim September 25th, 2024 as Homicide Victim Remembrance Day and dedicate ourselves to supporting those who fight against this heinous crime. This, the 24th day of September 2024. And Deborah, thank you so much for contacting my office to present this proclamation. And Cynthia, you wanted to say a few words?
Yes,
you want to
thank
say
you.
a few words?
Good evening. I am Cynthia McGarity and my husband, Christopher McGarity. In 2016, we experienced the homicide of our son. It was actually in Paulding County. However, Paulding County did not have a means by which families, survivor families, could honor the lives of their loved ones, nor the surviving family. So actually, in 2019, the first opportunity we had was with Cobb County through the District Attorney's Office. Seeing our son's picture and visual was so comforting, it allowed us to know that people cared. 2007, this day was actually certified by the U.S. Congress due to the diligence of parents in support of their daughter who actually lost her life in Germany, but the date of her death was September the 25th. We are honored, and I am so blessed. I didn't know that all of our community partners would actually be here, but the police department and the investigators, district attorney's office, they are our partners, and we collaborate with them because oftentimes with homicide, they are the first responders on the scene. They're the first ones to investigate, to see. And I know it's traumatic for them as well as it is for our families. So we thank you. We thank you for the due diligence. We thank you for your service. We thank you for the support that you give and what you do on behalf of families that lose a loved one due to no fault of their own. And we have another survivor, mother up here. But thank you very much. Thank you all, and we appreciate you. Thank you. You're welcome. Here you are.
Thank you all. Thank you, Ms. Cynthia, for allowing me to join in with you all. My son, Dre Henry, he was actually killed in Mississippi, but I have been welcomed here in Cobb County. We have a nonprofit organization that we are moving forward with, pouring our pain into purpose to help other survivors and teaming up with Ms. Cynthia. And we're just excited to be here in Cobb County and being so welcomed here to do the work that we're doing.
Yeah, he has. Thank you, Chair.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, and gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, our final presentation for this evening is to present a proclamation designating September 15th through October 15th as Hispanic Heritage Month in Cobb County. For those of you who are part of this presentation, please join me up front. All right, good evening. Thank you for being here today. Hispanic Heritage Month serves as a significant time for Georgians to celebrate and recognize the numerous accomplishments and contributions of Hispanic Americans to our country, state, and county. And whereas more than 13% of Cobb County residents, about 103,000 people, are Hispanic, they enrich our state's cultural diversity and contribute to our economic prosperity through their dedication, skills, and community involvement. And whereas Hispanic Americans, as one of Georgia's fastest growing ethnic communities, have made notable contributions in fields such as science, medicine, business, law, government, sports, education, and the arts. This further enhances our county's progress and success. Their determination, intelligence, and strong work ethic help drive the growth of Georgia and continue to shape our character and our future. And whereas from supporting local communities to serving in the armed forces, Hispanic Americans have distinguished themselves through leadership and service. Now, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, recognize September 15th through October 15th as Hispanic Heritage Month, a time to honor the vibrancy of Hispanic culture and recognize the invaluable contributions its members make to our community. This, the 24th day of September 2024. Congratulations. I'd like to share a few words.
Thank you very much, Chairwoman Lisa Cupid, because finally the Hispanic community have the recognition that we have in this county, in this state, and in this country. It's for me very exciting because I'm an American by choice, and I really was waiting for these moments. We feel, as an Hispanic community representative, we feel secure, safe, and welcome in Cobb County. Thank you so much.
That really means a lot. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're going to take a picture.
All right, here we go.
Appreciate you being here. Thank you. All right, this takes us to our first public comment. I'll turn things over to our County Attorney, Bill Rowling.
Thank you, Chairwoman. As the board provides the podium for public comment, it's appropriate to review the related meeting rules. Please state your name and if you're speaking on behalf of an organization. All comments should be made to the commission as a body and addressed through the chair. Public comment is not a dialogue with the board, but an opportunity for speakers to provide their comments to the board. Comments should not be slanderous. The board encourages, regardless of the topic, for our audience to be respectful and courteous to all speakers. Everyone attending this meeting should give others the right to both listen and to be heard by treating each other with civility. Statements made during the public comments portion do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the board or the administration of Cobb County government. And there's a timer on the podium to keep track of your 3 minutes. The first public speaker is Lance Lamberton.
Good evening. My name is Lance Lamberton, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Cobb Taxpayers Association. Our primary concern at this point in time is the way the county is promoting passage of the MSPOS. Most specifically, the videos you are putting out there which features the county manager. Yet given her residence in Cherokee County, I seriously doubt that she ever plans to take public transit to work, because that would involve driving to the KSU campus, taking a bus to the Marietta transfer station, then taking another bus to this address. Encouraging others to do what she is not willing to do herself is a height of hypocrisy. Another item I take issue with are the videos touting that expansion of mass transit would help you bypass traffic. Yes, that would be true for the tiny fraction of commuters that would use the expanded system, but would actually increase congestion for the 99% of us who will continue to use our cars to get where we need to go, by forcing us to wait at traffic signals while your new BRTs and ARTs go lumbering by. In putting out these false narrative videos, you violate the spirit, if not the letter of the law, which states that the county cannot use public funds to promote passage of the SPOS. Yet this is precisely what you are doing, all under the guise of education versus advocacy, to which I ask, have you no shame? My final point is your passage of a microtransit pilot program in South Cobb, which will launch on October 15th, the same day when early voting begins. I find it hard to believe that this is a coincidence. And while you have $2.2 million to waste on this boondoggle, you have no money to offer hard-pressed citizens even a scintilla of tax relief. To which I ask again, have you no shame? That concludes my remarks. Thank you for your time.
The next public speaker is Craig Harfoot.
This is yours. Lance. That's not mine.
Good evening. My name's Craig Harfoot, and I want to reiterate what Lance said. I filed one public ethics complaint against Cobb Chamber of Commerce and Cobb County years ago over the redevelopment powers law, and Cobb County was mailing out the flyers in the water bills. vote for. They found it's against state law. State law says you can't use taxpayer money to campaign for a tax. And yet here you are still doing it. And it just shows that you have no regard for law, Georgia law especially. And the fact that you ran a primary election using your own made-up maps that weren't approved by the governor, you broke your oath of office for the state of Georgia to uphold the Georgia Constitution. Well, Chairwoman Cupid, you've been here 12 years. Have you ever seen a time when you would make up a map and think it would work? And I'd say no. And I think for decades, this hasn't existed. And you wasted millions of dollars running a primary that needs to be redone now. I mean, I've asked the governor for a meeting because I think that you should be removed from office, as well as the other two commissioners that broke your oath of office. You know, he pulled a judge out of Douglas County for just mouthing off drunk to the police. What you did was way worse. You broke state law. You broke your oath. It comes with a 5-year felony penalty. And yet, crickets. I contacted the sheriff. He's a constitutional officer too. I'm still waiting to hear a response. And what I would say is, how, if you can't lead by example, do you think people in Cobb, when you're saying we got homicide victims, and if everybody operates outside the law, you're going to have a whole lot more homicide victims. You know, because if our leaders can't follow the rules, do you think anybody else is going to follow the rules? And I mean, it's time to do something to show good faith, because you have showed no good faith. And now they're going to redo this and possibly let Commissioner Richardson sit beyond December. Now, to reward her for all this bad behavior goes way beyond what anybody would expect. And I mean, I can't believe you're still sitting there. I really can't.
The next public speaker is Denny Wilson.
Good evening. I'm not here to talk about the maps, and I'm not here to talk about M-Splice, because I think my shirt says it all. But people are so focused on this election that something that seems small to us is of the utmost importance right now, our water bill. I got my latest water bill, and I noticed a cost of basic service fee of $8. So I reached out to the water department by email and inquired, what is this $8 basic service fee, cost of basic service fee? And they informed me it's been there all the time. It used to be $7, and it increased to $8 this year. So I emailed them again, and my question was, what's the annual revenue taken in by the water department from actual water customers using Cobb County water? And I was told, first I asked them how many customers use Cobb water, and they said 200,000. And then I said, what's the annual revenue that you guys are taking in from customers? And I was told again, it was 200,000. So if you do 200,000 by $1, that's $200,000 a month. And if you do that 200,000 times 12, that's $2,400,000 a year that's taken into the water department. So then I inquired, well, what's the annual revenue? And was told the projected revenue for water was about $124 million, and the retail sewer revenue was $110 million. So if you do 124 plus 110, that's $234 million. And if you take 5% of that, that's transferred from the water department to the general fund, That's $11,700,000, which is down from the 6% effective October 1st of $15 million. So with all that taxpayer revenue flowing through the water department, one have to question if this is really about stormwater prevention, because that's a lot of money for you guys to come to us to raise taxes and implement a stormwater fee. I don't think that we have a revenue issue in the water department. I think y'all got a spending issue, and that's what you really need to look at. And I'm hoping when voters go to the ballot box on November 5th that they look at what you guys have done with water and all the money you've taken from the taxpayers, and you just keep coming back and keep coming back. Thank you.
The next public speaker is Carter Wirtz.
Good evening. My name is Carter Wirtz, and I'm here to speak in support of MSPLOST. My wife and I have lived in Kennesaw for about 4 years. We settled down in Cobb County because of the opportunities that we had here. I work in Cumberland, and more recently, my sister's also moved to Cobb County because she found opportunities to live here and work here at Wellstar Kennestone. We really love it here, not only because is it where we work and live, but also this is where we find our community. This is where we have fun going to sports games at Kennesaw State University. We enjoy going to Braves games. We also love it here because we have access to the great outdoors. We love going to Kennesaw Mountain and Lake Allatoona, some of our favorite hobbies there. A few years ago, when I first moved here, I might have said I live in Greater Atlanta. But now, I'm happy to say that I live in Greater Marietta and I'm a cobbler. Really, though, I love saying that. I care a lot about the future of this county, and especially as I reflect on what it would mean to raise a family here and keep living here my whole life. The reason I'm looking forward to the mobility improvements that would be implemented by MSPLOST is because I think they would directly improve my life and the life of my family and friends. To list a few things, the improved infrastructure of our streets due to transit supportive projects such as expanding sidewalks and multi-purpose trails will make me feel safer. The ability to bike or throw my bike onto one of the buses and have a healthful outdoor experience at Kennesaw Mountain without ever having to worry about driving or parking. I also think just having the ability to have spontaneous trips with my family and friends without having to worry about being that rude guy who stands in a spot in Marietta Square waiting for all of his family and friends to get there and get a parking spot. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to have to worry about those kinds of things when I have more mobility options. I also think the flexibility that can be afforded by having more mobility options, especially when it comes to my personal experience working a hybrid job and my wife having a hybrid job, I could see it being possible that we would only need to have one car in the future, which would really make an easier improvement on our household budget. So I'll end on this. I was recently reading a book called Cobb County and the Origins of the Suburban South. It was written by Dr. Thomas Scott from Kennesaw State University, and it discusses a few things about how Cobb County evolved into a suburban county in the 20th century from a rural county. Some of the things it discusses includes the first subdivisions in East Cobb that were populated by people who work in other parts of Atlanta as far-fetched as down at the airport.
Excuse me, Mr. Wirtz, your time's up.
Okay, thank you very much.
The next speaker is Samuel Foster.
Hi, I'm Sam Foster. Obviously from my shirt, I'm here to talk about MSPLOST. I support it. There's a lot of talk about the technicalities of what the transit referendum represents to the opposition and to people who are in support. And I think what it fundamentally comes down to is what we want our cities to look like in the future. We can throw out all the statistics, all the data we want, but what it fundamentally comes down to is
how we want our communities to look in the future. Some of us are worried about preventing demographic tsunamis, but people like myself are worried about how we form communities that are safer for everyone and that provide more opportunities for everyone. So when I think of a community I want to live in, I think of a community where if I choose to have children, I could work a job and they could be at school, and if they have to stay after school, I don't have to worry about if I have a family member who can go pick them up to take them home. They can just go home safely without having to worry about if they're going to die from walking or getting hit by a car while they're walking. I look forward to a future where my brother can bike home from school without getting hit by a car on a multi-use trail. And I look forward to a future where I don't have to pay $60 for parking when I want to go to a concert. We can talk about all of the different technicalities of any plan, but what it fundamentally comes down to is what we want our communities to look like, and we decide what that looks like. And statistics and data are important, but just because something isn't the way that we want it to be right now doesn't mean that we can't shape that to look differently in the future. And I really do appreciate that about the plan. It's really saying that we have this problem where we don't diversify how we get around, and it addresses that directly and says, here's microtransit, here's BRT, here are some road expansions, here's signaling improvements, here's sidewalks. This is comprehensive, and it has a forward-looking vision for the future that a lot of counties in the area don't have. Thank you.
The next public speaker is John Gargis.
Good evening. I'm John Gargis. I'm here as a Metro Atlanta resident, but I've had the pleasure of working here in Cobb County for more than a decade. I'm here tonight to speak on MSPLOST and sharing my experience with county transit before and after attending the Sunday, July 7th Braves game. Taking my son via Cobb Link from the Marietta Transfer Center. With free parking at the transfer center and $10 for both of us to make the round trip, it was a better deal than paying $25 at the parking lot right by where the bus dropped us off across Cobb Parkway. Unfortunately, after the game, we missed the 4 o'clock hour bus from Cobb Parkway back to the transfer center and had to wait an hour for the next. Way too long in Georgia's July heat, although cool drinks we bought at Del Taco helped. Not sure why the Cobb Link app doesn't seem to show where buses are in real time or when the next bus will come to the stop you're at. But we finally got on that 5 o'clock hour bus, joining about 10 others already on, in all about a dozen of us riders. Not quite an empty bus that the mobility SPLOST opponents say are constant across the county. Now, I don't know if those 10 other adults were going to or from work or somewhere important, but at the time they represented as many as 10 fewer vehicles on the road while they were on that one bus. That's less traffic and probably less pollution. For those riders, the buses may be a necessity and not merely a convenience for someone like me and my son. But those individuals may not have the work schedule or ability to come speak at multiple 9 a.m. or 7 p.m. meetings on Tuesdays to share that. And lastly, their use of the bus provides us all with less traffic. So while proposed bus routes or other services under this November's MSPLOST vote may not pick us up from our front stoop, everyone in this county of 780,000 plus can all see some benefit from expanded transit and mobility services. If the MSPLOST doesn't pass this November, I hope the commission will consider greater transit and mobility options in key strategic areas. Maybe one that drops us off a little closer to the Truist Park gates. Thank you for your time, and go Braves.
Next public speaker is Lynn Walston.
Hello, my name is Lynn Walston. I live in East Cobb, where I grew up. My family owned property there for many years, and my uncle, Roy Varner, developed one of the first housing neighborhoods in East Cobb in the 1960s. I taught school in Cobb, and I'm now retired. I feel that improved transit in Cobb is essential for the good of its residents. Some of the things that the two gentlemen before me, the points they made are extremely important. It will provide inclusive access for transit-dependent communities and individuals who are currently underserved by our existing transit system. the elderly, the disabled, the youth who don't have cars, and others who need to get to work or doctor appointments. It will also be available for all residents, businesses, non-residents, including commuters and tourists. The proposed system, the MSPLOST, or the Cobb Transit Referendum, will provide increased speed, safety, and reliability to residents, as well as investing in Cobb's current and future economy. I know many Cobb taxpayers worry that this plan will not be affordable or effective over 30 years, but the plan is not all written in stone. There will be numerous ways to amend or expand parts of the plan as needed. It will also enhance Cobb County's ability to secure matching federal funds. So I encourage you to consider voting for the MSPLOST, which will help ensure Cobb's economic and inclusive future. Failure to do so may set our county back in growth and other regrettable ways. Thank you.
The next speaker is Donald Barth.
Good evening, Donald Barth. How are y'all doing? Hey, while we're on the subject, the lady brought up inclusive. And I want to make sure that Cobb County is inclusive. We did have some county employees trying to help find a certain preacher this particular meeting, and we missed the mark on that one. Nobody's fault. But with the high holy days coming up for the Jewish faith, it was kind of important to me to be inclusive of that religion in this particular case. Another thing about inclusive, one man wants to be a cobbler. I want to be a curmudgeon. We all got room in Cobb County for both of us. So as we go on about the curmudgeon, we're going to go into the First Amendment. Last night, Chairwoman Cupid had a meeting. We were all invited to the meeting, and it was like having tea. We had a little tea party. And it was fine. It really was. Nobody raised their voice the whole time we were in there. Everybody stayed on point. And it's easier to do when you have smaller groups and not inflammatory stuff going on around you. So we were able to conduct ourselves, talk, carry on. Nobody interfered with anything, and that happens. Last week, I went to the public library to talk about the MSPLOST. It doesn't matter what side I was on, I went to a public library. I was accosted at a public library. You can't be here, you can't do this, you can't do that. Kiss my grits. I can be there. It's public property and we have rights here in Cobb County. We keep closing in on people's rights. We're not going to beat up what happened a month ago. My brother didn't come back, so I guess he learned a lesson. So we do need to understand when the First Amendment comes about. We don't agree on anything. I know, I'll tell you, you have clean hands for the most part. Other people, clean hands is what you have. So we can argue about that point all day long. We can argue about rain tax. We can argue about a lot. But we have to find out what we're not going to argue on. After the election, I'm coming in and I'm going to throw something at you. Cloverdale looks like crap. I want to go show y'all houses which people are fixing up, and they have car lots. One of you commissioners live like that? There are car lots springing up next to the homes, not anywhere else in an R4 setting. There's something wrong with the zoning in Cobb County at this point.
Mr. Barth, your time's up.
Thank you, ladies.
The next public speaker is Donna Court.
Hello, hello. This is good evening, Chairwoman Cupid, Cobb County Commissioners, and wonderful staff. Donna Court, representing myself from zip code 30068. My topic tonight is simple and short and sweet. I want to recognize the Cobb County Board of Elections, and in particular, Director Tate Fall, who did us very proud last Friday, September the 20th. If you all haven't had a chance to see it, it is, of course, like this online. As she spoke, as did many, many of the other 159 counties, the directors of elections at the State Board of Elections, speaking about our situation where we're about to get into with voting and the State Board requesting hand counting. Director Fall did us well, and in fact, I've seen her particular clip on several evening news. So just to give her and all of our employees a wonderful thumbs up, and we know that Cobb County has been recognized as one of the six counties in the United States that people will be watching. And I'm proud that we live here. So I just want to say thank you, and I'm grateful for all the hard work that all of our servants do. That's all, folks.
The next public speaker is Tracy Stevenson.
Good evening, Commissioners. I do want to thank Ms. Cupid for having her forum last night. I think it went very well. Unfortunately, a recording's not on the county website, but if you will go to Rumble, you can see it's under the First Amendment Rights and Civility Forum, if y'all want to see it. It was an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. And I think it was very productive. I think everybody was polite, well-mannered. There were some good points made. I think people listened. I think people spoke. I'd probably say half of the people I didn't have a clue what their politics were, which was a good thing. One thing I would like to clarify from that you'll see was, I believe it was the first time you heard it, Ms. Cupid, was the Hugh Norris, who was the Vietnam vet that had spoken at that BOE hearing where the heinous remark was made. But that remark was actually directed at Hugh. You know, it wasn't directed at Ms. Mosbacher, which is probably is really a good thing, but it did splash on her, and I feel bad for everybody in Cobb County that we all had to go through that. There's no time or place for any of that. Another thing that came out of that I thought was a really good idea, I would use it right now actually, is an overhead projector access. That way we won't violate any of the sanctity of the safety of the Cobb County computer system, but it'd be nice to be able to put up a chart. Now on to, those were the good things, and I'll say my piece about MSPLOST. I appreciate that the people that want MSPLOST passed. I get it. I think I'm on the different side of this for lots of reasons. Primarily being that I don't think this is a very good plan. I think it's overpriced. I think I would like for us to take the time and energy to do a better job and fix what we currently have first. Make it needs-based. I understand that, man, I'd like to go to a Braves game too and not pay $20, $30 for parking. But at the end of the day, a $250 ride each way is pretty cheap for somebody that's not needs-based, but for somebody that's wants-based. And maybe it would be a little bit more equitable if those people that could afford to pay more paid more. I think that's a better way to approach it. For me, I think needs-based transit ought to be free for the seniors that can't get around and for the people that just need it to get back and forth to work. One of the conversations I had at the kickoff party was with a doctor at Kennestown. He wanted it because he wanted the employees there to be able to have a way to work. They'd go out and ride that way to work. I said, why don't y'all pay the people more? That might help. Thank you.
That's the last public speaker, first portion.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you to our speakers. We are now at our consent agenda, and the matters on the consent agenda scrolled on the screen prior to this meeting and will scroll on the screen once this meeting has concluded. We vote on all of these matters in bank. Commissioners, I'm not seeing any modifications to our consent agenda and don't know if anybody else has any observations. Otherwise, okay. Yes, Commissioner Burrow. Commissioner Burrow submitting a statement that she provides before voting during our meetings. With that, Commissioners, I move that we approve. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand. Go ahead, Commissioner. I'm sorry, I didn't know that you wanted to speak. Go ahead, please.
I'd like the clerk to record my statement as it is found on page 280 of the current agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Does anybody else have any comments prior to the motion? Okay. With that, Commissioners, I move that we approve the items on our consent agenda and authorize execution of the necessary documents by the appropriate county personnel.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Okay, call the question. The motion carries 5-0. We are now at our regular tab, and the first subject up is transportation.
Good evening, Chairwoman, Commissioners, Deputy County Manager, Drew Ressler with DOT. We have 10 items for your consideration on the regular tab this evening. Our first item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve supplemental agreement number 1 to project number B2305 task order number 1 to the 2022 master task order contract with Gresham Smith in an amount not to exceed $498,713.22 for engineering design of Church Road, Plant Atkinson Road, and North Church Lane. Authorize the corresponding budget transaction and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Richardson.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Call the question. Let's try again, Commissioners. Okay. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with North Georgia Concrete Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $1,534,723.33 for various project locations for 2024 countywide bridge repair rehabilitation, project number B2104. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with Glosson Enterprises LLC in an amount not to exceed $304,585 for 2025 resurfacing Americans with Disabilities Act ramp upgrades east, project number B2920. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Burrow.
Motion to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with Advanced Sports Construction LLC in an amount not to exceed $295,667.65 for 2025 resurfacing Americans with Disabilities Act ramp upgrades west, project number B2921. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Gambrill.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with Advanced Sports Construction LLC in an amount not to exceed $440,189 for drainage system repairs on Davis Road, project number B22115. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Burrow.
Motion to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
As a note, the next 4 items are related to the same project, and the first one is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a project framework agreement with the Georgia Department of Transportation for preliminary engineering design of Cobb Parkway Pedestrian Bridge North, Cobb County Project TR535. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Richardson.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Yes, Commissioner Burrow.
Yes, Drew, as was explained yesterday in agenda prep, these 4 agenda items, there's no county funding. The match is being paid by the CID, Cumberland CID.
That is correct. The funding came from a congressionally directed spending that was approved by Congress. The local match is provided by the Cumberland CID. who is also providing for the oversight fees. The 4 different agreements, 2 are with Georgia Department of Transportation to establish the framework for the coordination and compliance. The other one is for payment of the oversight. There's a Cobb framework agreement with the Cumberland CID to actually manage the project, accept that revenue, and then manage it. The county has to manage that project as the local administered project administrator. And then finally, an approval to proceed with the contract for design.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is
Okay.
that what you, okay.
Okay. We'll call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item related to this project is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a Cobb framework agreement with the Cumberland Community Improvement District for preliminary engineering design of Cobb Parkway Pedestrian Bridge North, Cobb County Project TR 535, authorize the corresponding budget transactions, and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Richardson,
So moved. Second.
is there any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item related to this project is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a memorandum of agreement with the Georgia Department of Transportation for preliminary engineering oversight of Cobb Parkway Pedestrian Bridge North, Cobb County Project number TR 535. Authorize payment of a preliminary engineering oversight fee to GDOT in the amount of $9,000. Authorize a corresponding budget transaction, and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Richardson,
So moved. One more to go. Second.
is there any discussion? No? All right, call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. And our final item related to this project is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a consultant services agreement with AECOM Technical Services Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $914,304.74 for preliminary engineering design of Cobb Parkway Pedestrian Bridge North, Cobb County Project number TR 535. Authorize a corresponding budget transaction, and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Richardson,
So moved. Second.
any discussion? Yes, Commissioner Burrow.
I'd just like to say, this has been talked about for a long time,
Yes.
since the Braves came to Cobb. And I think with crossing 41 on a bridge over to the battery in the stadium will be a lot safer than trying to cross 6-7 lanes of traffic on a very, very busy intersection for pedestrians.
At least.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. And our final item tonight is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a Cobb framework agreement with the City of Smyrna in an amount not to exceed $3 million for 2022 Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax Joint City Projects, and to authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Drew.
Thank you.
Okay, our next subject matter is public safety, and specifically E911.
Good evening, Chairwoman, Commissioners,
evening.
Deputy County Manager. This is going to be a recommendation for the Board of Commissioners to authorize the purchase of replacement portable radio parts with earphone connection in the amount not to exceed $20,200 using funds from the 2022 SPLOST Program Radio Equipment Replacement Project B1020, authorize the corresponding budget transactions, and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
All right, so moved as presented.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much.
I believe that takes us to our second public comment.
There are no speakers signed up for the second portion.
Okay. Not this evening. So that takes us to our appointment tab, and I believe we have an announcement.
Yes, I would like to announce the reappointment of Joan Bloom to the Neighborhood Safety Commission and thank her for her service.
Thank you, Commissioner. With that, we are now at the Commissioner's public address, and we'll begin with Commissioner Gambrell once the slides are on the screen.
We have our end of September adoption special. Our Cobb Animal Services is offering free pet adoptions through the end of this month. Donate at least 5 pounds of unexpired pet food or 6 or more cans of wet food to qualify. You can visit us in person at 1060 Al Bishop Drive in Marietta or call 770-499-4136 to start your adoption journey today. You can also scan the QR code provided below. And lastly, this marks the 6th annual Gambrel's Great Pumpkin Contest, which is going to benefit Safe Path Children's Advocacy Center, an organization that supports children who are victims of abuse, neglect, and trafficking. We invite all Cobb County departments to submit a decorated pumpkin or small Halloween-themed creations, such as scarecrows, ghosts, or anything ghoulish, to be showcased during the Commissioners' Board meetings in October. These entries will be voted on to compete for the grand prize. The winner will be announced on October 22nd. Happy crafting, and may the best creation win. Thank you.
Always exciting to see those. Okay. First things first, our quarterly report. It's that time of the year. Skip ahead. So that's coming up October 1st from 5 to 8 p.m. It's a chance to learn about all the goings on in the district. You'll get to hear from leaders and partners all across and ask questions, all the above. So certainly register. We like to make sure that we are very robust and cover lots of topics in the quarterly report. Stormwater community chat. This will be October 3rd, Thursday. Lots of conversations around stormwater, and want to take the opportunity to bring everyone together again to just have a frank conversation about the broader picture and some of the strategic opportunities that we can take as a community around stormwater management. So that will be normal time for the community huddle, but a special community chat for stormwater. You can scan the QR code to register, and that will be from 6 to 7, October 3rd. And then from the community, Public Safety's Make-A-Wish 5K. Put your money where your feet are and run for a worthy cause. The Make-A-Wish 5K on October 5th, Cobb County will host the run that raises money to help grant wishes for children with critical illnesses. The race begins at 8 a.m. on Marietta Square. Walk-up registration begins at 7 a.m. It's also a Peachtree Road Race qualifying event. Congratulations to our art contest winner, Sneha Shastri. Her artwork will be used on the 5K shirt this year. We got a chance to celebrate with her at school as well. For additional information, please contact the office. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. On Saturday, we attended the Georgia's First Lady, Marty Kemp, hosted her 6th annual Pet Adoption Day at the Governor's Mansion. The event featured dogs and cats from across the state in search of their forever homes. And this beautiful German Shepherd was adopted by the dad and daughter here. She talked him into it. And then we also had a visit from Commissioner John King for Fire and Safety and his wife Carol. And this dog fell in love with him, but they didn't take him home. So it was a great day, and thanks to our Animal Services, Steve Hammond and staff, for bringing the trailer out and trying to get more dogs adopted. We also had a veteran adoption last week. The Superior Pets for Patriotic Vets had another adoption last week, and we thank Mr. Flournoy for giving this fluffy girl a new place to call home. We're grateful for his support of this program and his 12 years of service to the U.S. Air Force. Holy Trinity Evangelical Lutheran Church is hosting their 13th annual Oktoberfest on Saturday, October 5th, 2922 Sandy Plains Road in Marietta. Come enjoy, it's from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come and enjoy German food, a live polka band, craft fair, horseshoe tournament, kids area, and all kinds of fun. For more information, you can go to holytrinitymarietta.org. And then also on October 5th, the Powers Ferry Corridor, an Adopt a Mile fall event is planned for 9 to 10:30 on Saturday, October 5th, along Powers Ferry Road at Terrell Mill Road. Volunteers can enjoy refreshments and meet up at the location at 8:30 a.m. at the Kroger Fuel parking lot, 1310 Powers Ferry Road. We thank them and all of our Adopt a Mile sponsors through Keep Cobb Beautiful.
Thank you. District 4 news and updates. District 4, it's time to get in the zone. Join me for our In the Zone community meeting tomorrow, September 25th at 7 p.m. Our monthly meetings are virtual and provide a great way to learn about recent zoning decisions and upcoming zoning applications in District 4. There are currently 18 applications to be heard in October, and that's between the Planning Commission and the Board of Commissioners. Please email rwanda.mcintosh@cobbcounty.org for the meeting link. The Freeman Pool Senior Center open house schedule for Thursday, September 26th has been postponed due to inclement weather. Once rescheduled, you can enjoy face painting hosted by Cobb Parks, explore the Cobb Library bookmobile, meet adoptable pets from Cobb Animal Service, and get creative with craft tables. A new date will be announced soon. Join My Green Growth for the Grow Austell Block Party on Saturday, October 5th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Pat Maxwell's Place located at 2710 Jefferson Street in Austell. This exciting event will feature food trucks, live music, garden tours, cooking demonstrations, planting workshops, and much more. The block party is free for all Austell residents, businesses, and community members. Come learn about Austell's city agricultural plan and help shape the future of food growing in the community. And finally, the city of Austell is hosting a community street cleanup on Saturday, September 28th from 9 a.m. to noon. Volunteers will meet at Greif, which is located at 3082 Humphrey Hills Road in Austell. Refreshments and supplies will be provided. Bring your family, friends, and enthusiasm to work together and make Austell a cleaner, greener place. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, all of you, for tuning in today. If you haven't joined the North Georgia State Fair, you can check it out until this Sunday at Jim Miller Park. And also, if there are any youth that are interested in applying for the Youth Commission, we have extended those applications until tomorrow, and those are open to those in grades 9 through 11. With that, again, thank you all for being here tonight. Our meeting is now adjourned.